Okay. Family, what's going on? All right, let me take my coat off. I just got here to the studio, and it is, well, this is, like 30 minutes from where I'm at. And I was not going to leave you all hanging. I need to kind of like set up a little bit. So bear with me. What's going on, family? I appreciate you all. Uh, Boom. See, we tried to do like this little setup. We probably gonna keep it. I don't know what on Amazon and make it look like it's gonna cover everything, but it does not. So, how you guys doing? Is the chat working? Tap where you're from. What's going on? I'm pretty excited to be here. If you checked out the thumbnail, you know today we're gonna talk about toxic protein powders. A big study just came out, and it might be one of your protein powders. Protein powders that you use after you work out. I think it was like 23 of them were found with high level of lead. We'll talk about some black farmers because I don't know if you know, but it's like a big target. It's like an extinction. Like they're starting to become extinct. So we're going to talk about that and how we can all kind of like step in. Is there something more? Okay. How we can step in and kind of reverse the curse. And then if we have a little time, we'll talk about GMOs versus bioengineered foods. Last week was kind of interesting because we were supposed to get into organics and get into okay, I don't know what that was. We were supposed to get into some organics and talk about naturals a little bit, but we didn't get there. I mean, I'm starting to figure out I need a better strategy for timing. I think we might move this to 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock is cool if you're on the West Coast because that's like 7 o'clock. But everybody on the East Coast, this can be a drag waiting up to 10 o'clock to catch this live show. So let's switch that up. We're going to probably start in next week and going forward. Shout out to episode 7. This is episode 7. We are going to move it to 9 o'clock. Hopefully that is good for a lot of people. Hopefully that's something that a lot of you can appreciate, you know what I mean? And something that we can my thing is like uploading, something that we can all appreciate for going forward. Just dealing with some technical difficulties, y'all, so pardon me. All right, let's see. This might be a better look. All right, just pulling up my notes. Okay, okie dokie. See if I can get this plugged in. Felicia, are you close by? Felicia's my sister. She's like the tech genius in the family. I need to like hook up this other device. Can you plug this into over there, please? Thank you. All right. Whoosa. Let me see if I can put this down a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. I like that a little better, actually. All right, so first and foremost, what's going on, world? I'm Chef D, nutrition and wellness guy, and I appreciate you all for checking in. This is episode 7, and it's about toxic protein powders, black farmers becoming extinct, and GMO versus bioengineered foods. I am grateful to have this platform where I could come before you all. And like I said, the things that they're whispering about this platform, we yell about it. We try to get the awareness out there. We try to let people know that these things are happening on our watch. And when you know better, you do better. So that's what this platform is all about. We cut the BS. There's no promotional anything on this platform whatsoever because the main focus is getting the truth out And we don't want the truth suppressed because there's a certain sponsor or a certain promotion that I agreed to and all this other foolishness. We calling out everybody and everything that we believe should be held accountable, and even USDA, FDA, CDC, the alphabet boys, no matter what. Again, these are great agencies that have been put in place for the people. However, no one's perfect. So when they trip and when they stumble, we're gonna call it out. And hopefully that's enough for them to say, oops, my bad, let's make it right, and not try to sweep it under the rug. And hopefully, again, this platform builds up enough traction so that way we can build up the awareness. And this is a community that people take us serious. This is not a conspiracy theorist channel. This is exactly what it is. I am a nutritionist. I'm also a certified personal trainer and behavior change counselor. I take pride in that because it's one thing to know what to eat, but it's another thing to help someone know why they eat how they eat, and then working with the scripting to have them unscript so they can reframe their connection and relationship with food and any other behavior that gets in the way of them having a great nutrition and wellness lifestyle. If you are new to this channel, welcome. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, usually on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, I release content that is health focused. This week is all about thyroid health. So check those out if you get a chance. The handles are always nutrition and wellness guy. You can find me on any of those platforms. You can do a Google search. And then on Thursdays is my podcast, where Nutritional Wellness Guy podcast, where I go deeper. I recap what we talked about as far as those 3 days of content for thyroid health. But then the Thursday is a full recap, a full deep dive into what that particular health focus is, so thyroid health. And then on Saturday, we have Coach's Corner, where I have an expert, someone who is smarter than I am, come onto our platform, and they share a lot more of that health focus. So thyroid health, they go deeper. I believe this week is Dr. Dawson. Yeah, I think it's Dr. Dawson for this week, which I'm pretty excited about. We haven't had him on in a couple of weeks. If you know, you know. He's a solid brother. He knows his stuff, and I love how he really gets down with the get down. Other than that, I appreciate you for being here. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Still put your stuff in the comments, questions or concerns that you have. And I'm all about trying to make it right. I do apologize for last week. I did not get to all of the topics. I am working on being a better host, be a better moderator. There's so much I want to cover in so little time. But thank you all for just having the grace to grow with me as I become a little more seasoned when it comes to this live platform. Because again, this is live. This is no cuts and all the other stuff. As you saw when you first locked in, I was taking off my jacket because I literally just pulled up here to the studio to kind of get this film. No, this is not where I live, and that would be so much more convenient. But when I'm on the East Coast, we got to do what we got to do. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. We are going to talk about protein powders and understanding that protein powder falls under supplements. And if you remember one of the earlier episodes for Wellness Wednesdays, supplements in the United States aren't truly governed. I mean, the FDA does get involved, but this is after the fact. So when a supplement is being introduced to the US market, which are protein powders, they are only, the law is for them to govern themselves. So they should get third party testing. They should make sure that their product is working, and they should be labeling what the product actually does. However, there is no, they don't have to submit their product for testing and approval from the FDA before it comes on the market. Why is that dangerous? Because right now, Consumer Reports just found that some of your favorite protein shakes may come with a sprinkle of lead. And this is huge. It's not just a few, more than 15 times the daily limit. So, lead in itself is not toxic, but the amount is toxic. And when you're dealing with 15 times the amount that you should have on a daily basis, I hope you guys are tuned in, and that way you can look at what protein shake you're taking, and there's ways to verify if they were one of the ones on the consumer reports. And there's ways to have a better understanding that they're doing third party testing and that they are lead free. So the consumer reports tested 23 protein powders, and some of them were as high as, like we said, 15 times the limit. Uh, The issue is obviously no pre-market FDA approval. We already talked about that. And some of the biggest culprits, this was a shock for me, are the plant-based powders because of the ones that have peas. So these show higher metals because of the soil. The soil absorbs more lead and concentrations during the processing, which amplifies it. So some of the issues with having high lead in your protein or in anything that you're eating is that it affects neuro and kidney. So your neurological side or your neural senses are affected, your neurons, and your kidneys take a big hit when it comes to too much lead consumption. And this is why we want to be careful, especially women who are pregnant and kids and seniors. And I want to stress this, that it's going to be incumbent upon us and you and me to start double checking what supplements we're putting in our body. Again, if you go back to one of the episodes, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, where we had a whole episode on supplements and the dangers of supplements and how you can find a supplement, or how you can verify if the supplement you're taking is healthy or not healthy. And let me just go back a little bit. So, to, 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 I'm just reading. I had a couple of articles here, just seeing some of the stuff. To see if I missed anything. Let's see if we can get this list. Let me see. I am led. All right, we doing this on the spot, y'all. We doing this on the spot. Because now I'm even more curious. Now, even though they did say it's more the pea proteins and the plant-based proteins, I don't think that excluded some of the other proteins that are way isolate, and some of the other popular ones that we see, especially the ones that are like mass gainers and all this other stuff. Let's see what this list comes up with. My laptop was being a little slow. All right, so here we go. Let's see. All right, they gave me a few, but I want to get a full list. So one of the highest one is Naked Nutrition Vegan Mass Gainer. So that one was the highest one, and it was the one reported to be almost 15 times the daily limit. So if you have Naked Nutrition Vegan Mass Gainer, uh, do a third party search, do an AI search on that, do a deeper dive, and figure out what is going on. The second one, and this is crazy because I see this one shown a lot. Huel, Huel, Black Edition. So this had 6.3 um, microgram of lead, and this was pretty bad. This was also pretty bad. Another one, I see this on Amazon sometimes. It's Garden of Life, and I think Walmart. Garden of Life Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein. It was also flagged for elevated lead. Um, and recommended for use only once a week. So they're like, these are so bad that you should only take one scoop a week because of how high the lead is in there. And then there's one I never heard of called Momentous, 100% plant protein, and that also had some issues. I don't know if from the time the article was released to this time, if some of these companies paid to get their names removed or whatever the case may be, because big money will suppress the truth. It's always happened that way. But I was able to find some brands to be on the lookout for is BSN, Dymatize, Dymatize, Ensure. I know we are quick to give Ensure to our seniors because they need to get their protein count up, and sometimes our kids. But I want you to do a deeper dive when it comes to Ensure to make sure that the one you are giving to your seniors or giving to your kids or the ones you're taking yourself isn't one of the ones on the list for lead. KOS, I've heard this a couple of times. This is all over Amazon as well. Muscle milk. So look up your muscle milk and double check that. Muscle Tech, Optimum Nutrition, Vega. This is a big plant-based one, VEGA, and Orgain, ORGAN. These are just some of the brands that tested very high for lead in their protein powders. And family, if you know better, do better. So don't just stop with those proteins. Any supplement that you're taking, just go ahead. Again, we have so much technology at our hands. We have Chat GPT, we have Copilot, we have Grok, we have a lot of AI at our disposal. Just flip those things, take a picture, take the picture of the front, take a picture of the back, and ask these search engines, these deeper language search engines, to cross reference some of the products that you're taking, and just to make sure that you're not consuming something that's going to mess up your health. And again, we're doing the right thing. We're taking supplements. We're taking, protein powder. We're taking things, pre-workouts. We're doing things to help give us an edge when it comes to nutrition and wellness, not thinking that some of this stuff is harming us. And why? Because they don't have to get pre-tested. I'm hoping that there's a day where supplements are classified as clinical or medical or food, or something that would allow the FDA or some governing body agency to double check these products. Because another thing that's happening, these companies are being built in other countries, and these other countries are monopolizing because they understand that we are going to be attracted to the marketing of the product. We're going to listen to whatever the influencer is saying that is promoting the product, and sometimes we're not going to take the time to do our due diligence. So they are taking advantage of that. You hear a lot of this studies come from China. China will create a product. They'll get American marketing behind it. They'll get American influencers behind it, knowing that none of this has been checked. There's one company that I'm doing a research on now because I believe it's a fraud company. Because everything I'm looking at, I don't see truth. I'm not seeing how it's connected to here. Serene Herbs, and again, I'm going to do more. Going to do more research. So far, I don't like what I see. I purchased this product for my sisters and I earlier this year, and it took about 5 or 6 months for the product to come. And that's what allowed me to start doing the deep dive. Where is this coming from? They have this founder, but the founder is not a real founder and not a medical founder. But so it's almost like AI is taking over the supplement marketing industry, because they're able to create these real life like people, give them real profiles, give them real stories. We believe in it because we why would they lie, right? That's the thing. Why would they lie? We take these products nothing really happens. Maybe at first there's a placebo effect that we think something's happening, but truth of the matter is nothing's really happening and we're wasting our money. So I want to start calling out some of these companies. I'm not calling them out yet, but just know Serene Herbs, I'm on that ass. Like I need to kind of see what's going on and why it feels so scammy. Why is the bioavailability of your product not really there? Why is the potency is not there? The efficacy is not there. And why is there no about us? Why is there no way to get in touch with you? Why there's no origin? Where are you located? Where are you making this product? Where's distribution? A lot of that stuff is pretty secretive. So I want to start peeling back the layers, and I'll bring it back to you guys to report. But for now, just save your money. I would leave them alone right now, and let me try to get y'all some more information. All right, let's move it right along. I just want to make sure because sometimes I go so fast and past stuff that I want to share with y'all. Um, and yeah, also another thing is there was a 2020 clean label project study found, and it was 75% of plant-based proteins had detectable lead, 55% had BPA contamination, and that's from plastic tubs and scoops. So another issue with some of these protein shakes and protein powders and supplements is that they're in plastic containers. These plastic containers are sometimes in storage containers, and they're in heat and they're in unventilated warehouses. So that heat, and it's been on the shelf for a while. The product's been for a while. The plastic, they don't use a superior plastic. That plastic starts to break down microplastics into the actual protein powder. So now you're starting to get BPA. They're finding that 55%, 55% had BPA contamination. And that's from the plastic tubs and those cheap plastic scoops. So me personally, what I've been trying to do is switching over to a bag that has some type of aluminum or yeah, I would say aluminum. Trying to think what other foil, yeah, stainless steel. They have some type of lining in it that is not directly touch the plastic. The company I use, and I get no sponsorship for this, is Kachava. I've been using Kachava for 4 years, probably 5 years. And to me, that is it's a little pricey, but I believe it's one of the best third-party tested, best ingredient product that I've found on the market. Very complete. And it, again, third party tested. So it's not just them giving us their word that they're good. Lots of great flavor. They just dropped strawberry, which like they're selling out. So it's hard to get strawberry now. But they have a good chai, a good vanilla. I like chocolate. I know somebody who doesn't like chocolate, but I like their chocolate. I'm not a big fan of the acai flavor, but their vanilla is solid. Kachava, pretty good. Again, they don't sponsor this show. They, as of date, obviously, but nothing, I don't have any relationship. I don't know anyone who works there. I'm just a fan. Great product, great ingredients, and great company model. Other than that, also they're saying a lot of mass gainers, fellas. We're the ones who really get most of the mass gainers because we want to bulk up or for whatever reason. But they contain arsenic, cadmium, and mercury, along with the lead, and all of these are neurotoxic metals. So just be careful with the mass gainers that you're getting. Be careful with the proteins that you're getting. Just kind of double check and cross reference it. Yeah, because most of like TikTok, they got the gym bros drinking protein twice a day, and not understanding you probably doubling the lead, and you're trying to figure out why your mood is all over the place. You're trying to figure out why you have erectile dysfunction. Ladies, you might try and figure out why your cycles are hitting harder than normal, why your brain fog is, you just don't know that sometimes the healthy stuff you're taking is not so healthy. So that's why I'm just putting this out there. I don't want to damper your mood. I don't want you to throw out any of your protein. I want you to just start double checking, and hopefully you find companies that are doing third party testing, um, and protecting you and your family. Again, I hate always being the bearer of bad news. That's why I have this show so daggone late. It's just Somebody got to tell you. Somebody got to tell you guys. Um, Other than that, let's see. Yeah, and just remember, if it says vegan, that doesn't mean vegan and gluten free on the front of the label. That doesn't mean it's healthy. I know the marketing people have been preying on you guys' emotions with that. It doesn't mean healthy. All right, that's it. I'm gonna leave that there. So let's get into black farmers. So black farmers, I don't know if y'all even noticed or if y'all been following the news, but black farmers been having it bad, like to the point where not getting paid, not getting compensated by the government, they're not getting loans, they're not getting extensions, and now they're talking about removing the whole they call it, back in the day we used to call it affirmative action, but they're just calling it the biasing. They don't want to they want to roll back black race-based programs for diversity. So on paper, it sounds great. It's like, yeah, of course. Like you want the farmer to have the farm based on merit, based on skill set, based on that. However, when you do that unfairly, it didn't start that way. So the whole point of diversity, the whole point of having black farmer funding and having special allocation for black farmers is because a lot of the land was stolen from them by the same government. So it's not like private parties stole the land from them. Our own government, our own country is documented through legal manipulation, through weird laws, and just all sorts of stuff. They were able to get land from the black farmers legally. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in 1920, 1 in 7 American farmers were black. Today, less than 1 in 100 are black. I don't believe this is because black farmers are lazy or uneducated or just don't want to farm anymore. No, it's because of what has taken place from 1920 up into present day. Um, they didn't just lose the land. It's the system that took it acre by acre, and just signature by signature, policy after policy, overlooking. And next thing you know, they just become extinct. But we could still fix that. I mean, I don't get it. This country, if a polar bear is becoming extinct, if a tiger is becoming extinct, if a daggone possum is becoming extinct, all the resources are pulled out to make sure that that doesn't happen, and they go far and beyond to make it happen. And the reason why is because sometimes the same people, the same humans, the same earths help to make them extinct because of the forest, ripping down the forest or building on land that was for the animals. So you did a wrong in a sense and trying to make it right. No different from you allocating special funding for black farmers and having special programs in place, because through legal manipulation, and this is documented, this is families who lost it because of legal manipulation and bad policy and just other stuff that again is documented, why the black farmer is becoming extinct. Today, there's 32,000 black farmers, and they own 0.5% of farmland. That's a 98% decline. So, yes, they're not extinct, but they're about to be extinct because no one is talking about this. And if they are, maybe no one's listening. And I'm a small fish. I don't even know who would even hear this. I don't even know how far this would even go. But I'm still going to do my part. And shout out to the black farmers out there who are hanging in there, who are sticking in there, like, borrowing from people and putting their houses up for just doing whatever they have to do to hang in there to feed America. That's the crazy part. They're not just farming for themselves, they're farming to feed America. The average annual farm income, so black farmers, their annual reported average income is $25,000. The average white farmer's income is $169,000. The average USDA loan approval rate, so understand that sometimes due to famine, And you don't hear it all the time. You think in the Bible when you hear famine or other countries, but there are seasons where the crop doesn't turn over, or where there's a disease or something, that a bacteria that spread, and the farmer can't turn over a certain crop. They can't make money that year or that season, or they don't make as much. What happens is farmers are able to rely on the government to help cover for that season, so that way then they can hold on next season. They do well, they pay back their loans or whatever the case may be, and they take pay off their vendors, and just business stuff, a bailout. Do you know that the USDA loan approval rate for white farmers 72%, black farmers 37%? That's not just all because they got bad credit and they just ignorant. No, it's systematic. Land loss value has estimated to be about 326 billion in generational wealth erased over the 20th century. Think about that. That's what it be. So if legal manipulation wasn't a thing, if redlining wasn't a thing, if racism wasn't a thing, if just this crime of treating these black farmers weren't a thing, there would be $326 billion value in the black farm community. But it's not. It's not there. It's not a thing. There are more, believe it or not, there are more Instagram food influencers than black farmers in the entire country. And between 2017 and 2022, over 4,000 black farmers disappeared. So that's one every 10 hours gone, closed up shop, out of business, not being able to continue the generational farming that they have been introduced to from their great grandfather or great great grandfather, or however it worked out. Um, it's crazy because this year, 2020-25, USDA rolled back race-based programs for diversity. So translation, equity is canceled. This is not, I mean, it sounds like, oh yeah, that's again, that sounds good, right? No, that's not. Because you take a population who was squeezed out of what was rightfully theirs, and then you tried to make the starting line equal again. So it's like you gave the other farmers 20, 30, 40-year head start. And then now you're like, okay, everybody, let's now put the line back fair. What? They're already lapped like a lot of times. And there is no fair at this point. It becomes a monopoly, and there's no way for them to truly catch up. They just become extinct. So the way we can do that, start looking at black farmers in your area. There are, believe it or not, black farmers throughout the country. Some are more populated in certain areas than others, like the South in certain parts. But start thinking about black farmers. We save retailers, we save black bookstores, we save black restaurants. We do a lot of that. But I would love for people to really get together and make it fair for the black farmer. And I don't want you guys to be like, oh, it's just okay, race, race, race. It's fair, fair, fair. We just want fair. And there are black farmers who are working hard. They're using technology, they're using AI. The grandfather's trying to teach the grandkids, and they're trying to do it in a way that's ethical. So let's start finding good ones, the good one. I don't believe all black farmers are good. Let's just start finding reputable black farmers in our area that we can directly support, and we can start evening the playground. Yeah, I get it. You can go to the supermarket, the food's already there. That's cute. But why, again, we already started to talk about that the food is getting a little spooky anyway. So why not start going directly to the farm? That's my approach now. I'm trying to go more directly to the food source and getting rid of the middleman. Now, again, you can't do that with everything because that's not how we live, how some of us live. But if you're in a city or you're in a suburban area, you may not have farms, or you may not have farmers market close to you. So you got to do what you got to do. But sometimes it might mean taking a trip to those rural areas and loading up the car, loading up the truck, and then driving back an hour or two back home. And guess what? You have food that is food. It wasn't in anybody's lab. No techies got a hold of it. You have farmers who are using technology to have a better crop and to have a better yield and to prevent more disease. But other than that, you're getting food from the farm. And that's maybe something we can start looking at and start considering when it comes to our families and how, how we can better support our families and ourselves. Let's see. I got the comment section blocked up. My bad, y'all. Like I said, I don't. I'm trying to slow things down a little bit so I don't so I don't pass like I did last week where I missed out on a whole section. All right, let's see. So um yeah, so I think I pretty much got that. So yeah, many black farmers use ancestral organic methods. And that's another thing. So a lot of these family-owned farmers, shout out to our brown farmers too, but our black and brown farmers, and also white farmers. I mean, there are people who are doing it the right way and who aren't a part of the extinction of black farmers. But again, the importance of dealing with farmers directly is you're dealing with real. This is the real definition of organic, not because the USDA slapped a label on organic. Like I said in the last episode, some of these farmers can't afford that. Like, you're a small farmer, you had a bad crop last year, you're just trying to stay above water. You can't afford to get the USDA inspector to come to the farm, which takes a long time sometimes. They get there, there's red tape, there's paperwork, there's bureaucracy going on. And before it's all said and done, you lost time and you lost money for a label that you probably can't make much money on because you're becoming extinct. So just trust that everything, it doesn't have to say organic by the USDA to mean it's organic. That's just one way to verify organic foods. There are farmers who can verify themselves and say, hey, this is organic. This is our growing practices. And you could deal with their eggs that way. And eggs from a farm are way different from eggs you'll get in the grocery store. Trust me. And just, herbs, spices, produce from a farm, you'll never go back. That's all I can say. You'll never go back. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, and that 326 billion in lost generational wealth, that was from the Federal Reserve report back in 2023. Um, yeah, so the average, and here's the thing, the farmers who do get approved, black farmers wait 72 days on average for a loan approval. White farmers wait 30 days on average. And this is from the National Black Farmers Association survey. And again, this is scary. This is scary business. Black farmers represent, like I said, 0.5% of farm owners, but account for less than 0.2% of agricultural revenue from our country. 0.2%, less than 0.2%. That's not even 1%. All right. I'm gonna get off of that. I'm gonna get off of that. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Segment 3. GMO versus bioengineering. So this is what we call the rebranding manipulation. Back not too long ago, it was a lot of GMO, 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 GMO this, GMO, non-GMO, non-GMO, which is genetically modified organism. And this was usually done in a lab, and a GMO was an item that was, I use the word manipulated, we'll say manipulated or tweaked for whatever yield that they were looking for, or the color or size or volume, whatever they were trying to get out of the process. That's the GMO side. Now they use a thing called bioengineered. So, bioengineered food disclosure standard, which is something that comes out. So, the one in 2022 replaced GMO labels after the industry lobbied Congress for a more friendlier label. And this was done by the New York Times investigation back in 2023. So, so here's some stats. So, four companies control 60% of the global seed market and 75% of pesticides. So you hear me? So 60%, there's four companies that have about 60% of the global, not just USA, global. And these same companies own 75% of the pesticide. So they're pesticiding their crops. And this is Bayer, Corteva, BASF, and Syngenta. Now, the issue with this is our foods are being pesticide to death, and it's penetrating the skin, and it's really just not good. And some of us don't know this because we're not truly washing our produce. We rinse the produce. We'll rinse an apple. We'll rinse any a pear or a plum or a peach or a nectarine. We'll rinse it off, but we're not washing it. I feel like nowadays we have to treat our produce like raw chicken and raw beef and fish, because of the conditions that they're being grown in. So there's obviously, you have baking soda and you have vinegar. Those are the best two adjutants to break down any of the wax and pesticide outside of the fruit skin. Those are the best. I do both. Sometimes some fruits or produce or vegetables is better with baking soda. Some is just good with vinegar, instead of wasting your money doing both. But I do both because I like bubbles. Bubbles means that it is eating up the wax and it's eating up the pesticide. That's in my brain, my artistic brain. I ain't gonna say the other. My cuckoo crazy creative brain has to see bubbles to know that the pesticide is going bye bye. And that's where I feel like we can be a little bit more intentional. Here's a loophole I want you guys to know a little bit more about. So, I don't know if you know this, but 70% of genetically engineered ingredients, no label is required. Hmm. Let me break that down. So, it's a loophole, detectability loophole. If DNA, I'll read it verbatim. If DNA is destroyed during the processing of the oil, sugar, starch, no labels required. So about 70% of GMO derived foods escape labeling. So you don't have to, these companies don't have to label it as GMO or bioengineered or GMO if through the processing the DNA is destroyed or the nutrients are destroyed or whatever may be stripped away, which is crazy because that's a big loophole, because that's allowing 70% of products that should have a GMO label on it not have a GMO label on it. And that's, yeah. So another thing is new research from Frontiers in Toxology. This was done in 2024. They are linking glyphosate exposure to gut microbiome imbalances. And this is an issue also for your immune health. So there's a thing called a lower short chain fatty acid. And this is important for building up your immune system. So they're saying that these bioengineered and GMO foods, especially in ultra processed foods, there's starting to be a connection to it affecting your gut health. And they may say, no, it's not like that. But yes, because of the way we consume and the amount we consume. What else is here that I think y'all should know? Another thing is they say GMOs disrupt the natural evolution of seed diversity. So this makes fewer pollinators. This makes a weaker soil resilience. So, from a naturopathic standpoint, any food engineered for profit, not purpose, creates energetic disharmony. And that is the information we eat. So when you it's one thing to have cross breeding or select breeding. That's, some foods can be non-GMO without a seed. Like you'll see seedless grapes that are organic, or you'll see seedless watermelon that's organic. And you're like, how's this organic? It doesn't have any seeds. That's cross breeding. But GMO, or bioengineered, which is the new term now, is creating a whole different product derived from the watermelon. It's almost like cloning, but not quite. It's just, I'm just saying that just to give you some context. So when that happens, you're losing nutrient profile, and you're losing the benefit of actually even eating the fruit or vegetable. You're eating it not just for fiber, you're eating it for their nutrients, their vitamins, and their nutrients. That's what you're eating it for. When you remove that, you're just eating fake food, and that's my issue. My issue is that we have a lot of fake food out here. Um, yeah. Let me see. Thank y'all for being here. I mean, this is this episode was a little tricky for me, only because it's hard to get cited information for some of this stuff, because how do I say this? The powers that be, this is stepping on some toes. This is peeling back the layers for people who don't want you to know this much information. This is something that is not bragged about. This is, you won't see your influencer on TikTok or Instagram talking about this. This is not sexy. This is not, this is not that. This is the stuff that makes you lock your doors at night. This is the stuff that makes you think twice before you buy something. This is the stuff that makes you look over your shoulder, because you want to trust the food. You just want to trust, especially if you're giving up, fried foods, and you're giving up fast food, and now you want to start cooking at home. You want to start doing it the healthier way. And what's that little you risk eating fake food that has no nutrients, or you get protein that has lots of lead in it. um let's support our black farmers. That's this episode is dedicated to black farmers. We love you. We appreciate you. We wish we knew who you were. So I know personally I'm going to start doing more digging and research, and maybe as a love language, I could start shouting out black farmers on the platform here, at least for the next couple of weeks, especially since they have such a huge target on their back. Let's see what we can do to get more black farmers out there. If you know a black farmer, put them in the comment section, especially for the replay. We would love to see that. And let's get this trending. Let's get it trending where we can get black farmers. We could comment, we could post a black farmer, and we could figure out ways how to support that farmer. Other than that, I'm trying to think. What else? Am I leaving y'all? Because I don't want to leave y'all. I don't want to leave y'all hanging again. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just going over what we talked about. Any questions for me, you all? I try to open this up for any questions, any concerns. We're coming to the end of the show. I'm looking here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I know what I missed last week was organic. Again, when it comes to organic, nowadays you can't let that just be the only thing on the label that catches your attention. Remember, the front of the label preaches, the back of the label is confession time. So even the word organic has become diluted, and you can't let that be the standard on why you pick something up or you don't pick something up. We have to go a little further on the label. We have to go to the back of the label. We got to check out how many ingredients there are. Can we name these ingredients, or can we not? Other than that, I want to just leave it on this note. Make sure that you and your family have a plan when it comes to, we call it emergency food supply plan. You never know what's next. It usually happens and then you wish you prepared. Make sure you and your family, and if it's just you, that's fine. If it's just you and your significant other, that's cool. But even if your friends or your family is your friends, or your friends are your coworkers, or you have created a family dynamic, you all should find a way to get together to make sure you have an emergency food plan. At any moment, the water supply can be threatened. At any moment, there could be an outbreak with meat. At any moment, there could be an outbreak with fish. At any moment, there could be an outbreak with wheat. There could be an outbreak with dairy. There could be an outbreak with what are some of the other areas? Air. It can happen, and things can get crazy. Amazon may not be able to deliver because of whatever um, pandemic is taking place, whatever ever epidemic is happening. Um, there could be martial law where you can't even leave your house to get groceries. There could be bad weather, there could be storm, there could be war, whatever the case may be. Make sure you have an emergency food plan. Have enough for 7 days. 7 days, that's not too much to ask for. Have enough, start with 7 days where you have food that is sealed away. So if there's flooding, if there is an issue with your shelter that crumbles, if there is a loss of electricity, where you can't turn on the stove, if there's a loss of electricity where you can't keep things refrigerated or in the freezer, have some non perishable or some long shelf life items in your house that can take only water to eat, or some things that don't even need water. Also, have a backup water supply. So make sure you have enough water to last you for 7 days, 7 days. And not just you and your family, and maybe in your network of friends, one person has this, one person has that, the other person has that, or you designate one person's home or garage for these items. So if all hell breaks loose, you know where you can go, or at least you know where there's a food supply. Again, not to scare anybody, because but again, I think these times, these are unprecedented times. These times are, we haven't been in these times before, and I believe that it would be incumbent upon all of us to store up our homes and be prepared. Hey, what happens when your perishables your are it's 3 months later, 3 years later, and you never need it? At least you had it. Um, go with jarred items. Mason jar items are really good to have. If they are in the storage, make sure that they are not on the top shelf, because let's say there's an earthquake or there's a flood or there's a storm or something that rocks things. You don't want all that to fall on the ground. Put them lower level, put cushion around them. But jarred items are great. Make sure you have dried beans. Lentils are great. Black beans are great. Chickpeas or gumbazo beans are great. Get them in the can. Canned items are also really great to store away. They last very long. And you can do canning yourself. Canning is a great way to preserve items. Also, make sure, like I said, you have a good water source, just water in containers that are okay. Don't, not the plastic ones if you can, but if that's all you got, get some plastic containers. You know what I'll probably do on the next episode? We'll probably come up with a list of how to prepare for an emergency, or how to have an emergency food supply just ready to go, that can withstand weather, can withstand war, withstand pandemic, famine, what electricity outage, whatever may come our way. You have enough food in your home for you and your family, and not just any food, nutritious food, food that's going to keep your mind right, food that's going to keep your body right, because it doesn't make sense to deal with calamity and be sick and be malnourished. So let's figure out how to do it the right way so you get your nutrients. We'll talk about next episode what supplements you should have, what trusted supplements you should have in your emergency food kit, and also what utensils you should have in your emergency food kit as far as equipment too. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you found some value in it. I appreciate you all as I'm growing to be a better moderator. Thank you for being on episode 7. 7 weeks of this. That's pretty incredible. Tomorrow drops Thyroid Health podcast on the Nutritional Wellness Guy podcast. Check that out. It's a pretty good episode, if I say so myself. And then if you got time, check us out on Saturday. Dr. Dawson really goes deeper into thyroid. I didn't know so many people were dealing with thyroid issues. So you definitely want to check out tomorrow's episode, Thursday's episode on YouTube. And you definitely want to check out Saturday's Coach's Corner with Dr. Dawson about thyroid health. Again, our platform is about prevention and maintenance. We're not here to cure, diagnose, or treat anything you have going on with your thyroid or any other health issue. We're here to make sure that we can prevent it and add some maintenance and give you some tools and some strategies so that you and your family stay well. And that's pretty much it. Hey, thank y'all for being here tonight. Everybody watching the replay, I appreciate you. And remember, health is wealth. And I'm just here to make sure you're getting paid. Until next time, yum on. And I think Felicia says she's going to get me a chair that don't move because I'll be moving a lot. So maybe we'll have that on the next show. I appreciate you guys. Love you all. Chef D out.